That's
Estamos
great.
aquí con Eugenie Bundelant, actriz nacida en New Orleans, Luisiana, Estados Unidos. Es un honor para nosotros tenerla aquí. La conocen por ser papeles en los Juegos del Hambre y ahora siendo la ocultista en la famosa película de Conjuro 3, así que le vamos a dar la bienvenida y un agradecimiento. It's an honor for us to having you here, so thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ok, la primera pregunta que queremos hacer es cómo se metió en el mundo de la actuación y quiénes han sido sus referentes.
Oh, what inspired me? I needed a job.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I had moved to Los Angeles. I was working as a model in New York and in Europe, and love brought me to LA, and I ended up getting a job at this small school. I broke up with the guy I was dating, and my friend said, oh, you know, you should take my acting class. And so because of that, and then I started working. So I thought, well, this works out well. And I enjoyed it, thankfully. I mean, if I didn't enjoy it, I probably wouldn't continue with it. But I have a certain look and a certain type, and I give off a certain demeanor. And it's been rewarding. So that's why I became an actor. Isn't that funny? And now I teach actors, and it's been wonderful. Yeah, that's
amazing.
Very fun.
Who has been your inspiration
after, my inspiration.
Before time as an actress?
Oh my gosh, usually the last actor or actress with whom I've worked. So the big project everybody knows about this year that came out, The Conjuring, or I think it has a different name in your country. Is it Invocation of Evil or something like that? Anyway, every actor I work with is an inspiration. I always glean something from them. So, you know, with working with Vera and Patrick was like working on a master class. The way they approach their work, and it's different. You know, one comes in fully loaded and is there and present, and you can do the scene at any time. And the other questions everything, every motivation, every movement, every picking up of the glass. So it's inspiring to me. So that's pretty much where I go. I mean, I've got other actors and actresses that I watch, and that I would watch almost everything they do. But really, it's the last work usually the big piece that I've done.
Okay. Quiero preguntarte también sobre tus comienzos como actriz.
Yes, my first SAG job, SAG here in the United States is our union. It's the Screen Actors Guild. So my first SAG job was, I was still modeling at the time. It was a commercial. And I thought, I was a little huffy about that because I thought, well, okay, they booked me as a model in the commercial. I thought that was great. I had a blast. But then they went overtime, and I didn't realize, you know, I was working under the union rules, which meant that we were covered, we were protected, we were paid, we had certain rules for which the production had to abide, and I didn't know that. And it was such a surprise. And then it started running and running and running, and I saw myself, you know, in the commercial, and everybody would, you know, call me and say, "You're in this commercial." It's crazy. So that was a blast. And then I ended up booking a mini series, and was on that mini series, and ended up getting write-ups on the mini series. Hardly said any lines, but was a bodyguard. Now, I never thought of myself as a bodyguard, but hey, you know, they dolled me all up. I had a lot of makeup. My hair was slicked back. I wore all leather and had high heels. Of course, that's what you think of as a bodyguard. Anytime you think of a bodyguard, they're wearing high heels and lots of makeup and everything else. But it was a lot of fun. I got my first chair then, you know, with your name on it.
With your name, yes.
Okay, this is really good. It's really good. So yeah. Those were some of my first ones. The commercial definitely was an eye-opener for me.
Ok. Vamos a hablar ahora sobre su participación en los Juegos del Hambre. Ya hizo el papel de Tigra en la segunda parte de los Juegos del Hambre. Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre eso.
So when I got the audition for that, it was under a different title, so I didn't know the name of this project. And I do my homework usually when I get a project. So homework means I research who's the director, what is the casting director doing, and then to try to find out more information or the tone of the project, right? Well, in this case, there was zip, there was nothing, there was no information out there. It was under a different name, and I thought, what is this? So I auditioned, I got a call back, and we were going on vacation. And the callback was in a different city, and I was going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away from that callback. Then they gave me the name of the project, which was Hunger Games, and I went, oh, wait a minute, that's a big book. It's a big selling book. Wait, I have more research to do. I can jump right into this. So I had not read the books at that point, but I thought I only have a limited amount of time to do my research. So I'll ask and I'll do a deep dive into the Hunger Games, and the callback was amazing. It was one of the best callbacks I've ever had. And we were in the middle of our vacation. I flew down to Atlanta, went into the callback. Fabulous. I was so excited, just had a great time, got back into the car, went to the airport, and flew back to be on my vacation, and said, I've got to just throw this away, because if I book this, it would be absolutely fabulous. But if I don't book it, at least I had a really great experience doing that callback. So that was the experience with Hunger Games. Obviously, after I booked it, I did my research and I read all the books. I consumed them. It was just incredible. They're so well written, and the characters really come to life off the page. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I would love to do that again. Whew.
And talking about that movie, I want to ask you about how hard was the makeup sections? It's difficult for it was difficult for you?
Well, it wasn't difficult for me because they were putting the makeup on me, but it took 3 to 4 people 6 hours to put the makeup on. Now that included the hair, and that included, like 10 minutes of me eating something at 5 o'clock in the morning because I was sitting in the chair at 4 o'clock in the morning. So during the breaks, but it's still, it was all consuming. And when I had the makeup on, that's where it was a little limiting because I had prosthetics on my face. Prosthetics are fine. I've done that many times before in other projects, and it's kind of fun to see the transformation. With these though, all of my senses were numb, like my sense of hearing was kind of cut off. My sense of sight, I had those cat eye contacts in, so my vision was very limited like this, I had no peripheral vision. I couldn't eat anything because the prosthetics came up right to my lips, and my movement was kind of like this. I could only move my lips. And then my hands had these long claw nails. So there was nothing, it's just kind of, I'd have to ask people, can you hand me that over there? But it was fun. It was fun. I would never change that for the life of me. I tell you, so much fun to work on that set, work with that crew who is incredibly talented, and have that opportunity, and to work with the cast. They were terrific. Terrific. Everybody laughing. It's funny. When you work on a project, you just hope and pray that it's fun, because it usually is. Usually it's the director that sets the tone. And if he or she is passionate about the project and is full of life and zest, then everybody's going to have fun. They're going to work really, really hard on the project, and the result is there. And that was the Hunger Games and the Conjuring. Both were just absolutely fantastic.
Excellent. Talking about The Conjuring, ahora vamos a preguntarle sobre su experiencia en El Conjuro, cómo consiguió el papel.
Thank you for asking that. That was it's really a treasured role for me, I have to say. And I hope that everyone enjoyed that film. And I just, I hope you were scared adequately enough. And I hope it did my job. And I hope you loved it, because we had a blast filming it. And it was sometimes scary and terrific. Anyway, I got the job. I put myself on tape. We have a thing called self-tapes. Most people know what that is, but when you first audition, so you put yourself on tape, it goes to the casting director and the director. The casting director then sends it off to the director and producer or producers. So in my case, I had a friend of mine come over and she taped me in my studio. And really, it was only a page and a half of dialogue. Again, with the conjuring, similar to Hunger Games, they were very secretive of what this was about, what it was. In fact, if I can remember correctly, I don't think the name of the project was on the sides. So all it was witch slash occultist. And so I ran the two scenes and I thought, I don't know what this is. It's very confusing and I don't know what she's doing and I don't really get it, because it was the time where she's at her altar and it was confusing, but I put everything into it. And so I send it off. I get a request a week later from the director. Hey, can you put a few more takes of scene number 2, which is really, 3 lines, 2 lines, something like that. Scene number 2, can you put that a few takes on tape for me? Sure. I had a cold. I'm like, sneezing and everything. So we got a tape in between the sneezes. Okay, so I got my husband out. He starts taping. I'm kind of, because I've got a cold and I'm all stuffed up and I'm blowing my nose and everything else. And he tapes me. We did about 10 takes. I sent 6 of them off. And sure enough, a week and a half later, I get the call. Hey, you booked this, not knowing what it was. And they asked if I wanted to do the table read. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do the table read. I sit there. I was not sent the script. And that was the first time I had heard the script. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm the antagonist. I create my character creates the chaos here. I had no idea. It was a complete surprise. So that was another fun ride and fun journey. And yeah.
Wow, amazing story. Quiero preguntarte también si hay alguna diferencia entre filmar películas normales, si se quiere, y películas de terror por el clima, por todo el ambiente que encierra.
I don't know. I would like to say yes. Some of the things, it depends on the film and the budget. For The Conjuring, we oftentimes filmed on sound stages, which meant that yes, you could close the doors and it looks like night, which is great. I love the creativity of horror films because they do have blood and crazy stuff. I had
legs, arms, heads.
Yes, all over the place. And it's the reality of going, oh, that's not really an arm, that's a fake arm. I can pick it up and swing it around if I want to. So and all the mechanics that go into it. There was one time I lit a lot of matches in this film. I don't know whether you picked up on that, but I am pretty proficient on lighting a candle. And at one point they wanted the matches to light very quick, right? Rapidly, which not just the matches, but the candles had to light quick. And the candles were acting up. So they put fire starter, like a little starter on the candles to help them quick. Well, there would not, in a different type of movie, you wouldn't have seen that. I wouldn't have understood the whole mechanics of, wait, what do you do to a candle to make it light quickly? I didn't know that. How fascinating, how fascinating. What we don't see, there's a little thing in Conjuring, which I don't think we see, or maybe we see it, but I don't know whether the audience catches it or not. But at one point I crack an egg over the chalice, and inside the egg is a chicken fetus. No, it's not a real chicken fetus. They made it out of clay or rubber, I don't know. But it's in an egg. In that egg it looked like a real egg. It cracked like a real egg. Now I look at that and I think, only in a horror film would you get this. I mean, that's pretty cool. What props and set decoration comes up with. The book that was on my character's table and altar took about a week to make. And I think that's fascinating. That's really cool, this old book, because of the type of film that it is. It's really fascinating to me. It's fun to watch and see what happens, you know. Yeah.
Excellent. Quiero preguntarte también sobre si crees en fantasmas, si has tenido alguna experiencia paranormal, no solo durante la película, si ha pasado algo raro, sino en tu vida.
You know, you're so funny. I can't believe you asked me that. I am from New Orleans originally. And that city...
Witches, a lot of them.
Oh, it is full of spirit and life and spirits, plural. And so one can't help but acknowledge the paranormal when you were raised in an environment that it surrounds you. So on set, there are a few things that I want to mention. Number one, on set, we had a bishop come and bless the set. And I think that really brought a level of confidence and support to the team, and it also to me. And so when I started doing a lot of my heavy scenes, not in the beginning, but towards the end, I was on a lot, almost every single day. And the first time I was working at my altar, I was asked, would you like the bishop to come and bless your set? Yes. Because, you know, I just don't want any, you know, incidental spirit to come and mess things up. This is going to be good, and you know, we're going to do a great job. And sure enough, he blessed me, he blessed the set. There were other situations that happened not on my set. So my set was pretty tight. Now, me personally, we live in a house where I'm sitting. This is our house. It's an older house. It's about 100 years old. And when we moved in, or even before we even moved in, my friend came in, looked at the empty house, went into a room and said, "This has a spirit." I said, "Well, how do you do? We got another friend in the house. How about that?" And sure enough, you know, my realtor said, and we're all from New Orleans. She goes, you know, I was about to say the same thing, but I was afraid to say it. I said, "Oh my gosh." So my next door neighbor, then after we left, when we moved in, excuse me, after they left, we moved in, my next door neighbor said, you know, your house has a spirit. I said, and it's female. And when it likes you, it's very benevolent. Well, sure enough, you know, I've not seen the spirit. There have been a few lights that have gone off, but, you know, I can always explain that. That spirit, though, has, I feel, helped me in the restoration of this house, finding things where I'll just put it out there and say, you know, I really would like to find the door that's supposed to go up to the attic. And sure enough, within an hour, I turn around and you know, I see something that was there all along that I didn't even realize, oh my gosh, she painted, that's the door. That's the door. That's the door to the attic. What was I thinking? You know, it was used in a different purpose. So, you know, yeah, nothing creepy. Thank goodness. I'm going to knock on wood. Nothing
creepy, but a lot of
creepy. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. You can be around, just don't scare me. That's how, you know, we can work really well together.
Excelente. Bueno, vamos a agradecerle a Eugenia, en español, por su buena onda, por todas las experiencias que nos contó. La verdad que fue un verdadero placer tener su presencia aquí. We want to thank you for your time. You are so much fun, and you're an amazing actress. So it was an honor for me to have your presence here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And happy Halloween, everyone. Happy All Saints Day, and happy Day of the Dead. So, and I truly appreciate you inviting me here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was an honor for me.